Hello everyone, welcome to Talking Health with Dr. Laz, your favorite health program on television, reaching you as usual from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. My name is Dr. Laz Eze. Yes, today is episode 70 of this show. It's been a very long way we've come with Dark Communications PLC, Africa Independent Television, and the entire crew that is making this program possible. And of course, I won't forget to mention the Talk Health Nigeria team that has been ensuring that every week that we get to bring this to you. So today we are going to be having a very important conversation about our healthy lifestyle and well-being. 3 cardinal goals we intend to achieve through this program, and of course as Talk Health Nigeria team, is 1, to increase health literacy. We want as many persons as possible everywhere to get to know more about health, having the accurate information from the experts. I do hope that in the previous episodes we've been able to achieve that, and I will keep working hard to give you more of that. And of course, we want to influence appropriate health-seeking behaviors. We want people to make the right decisions, take the right steps, and right actions concerning their health. And we want to help in the health system strengthening in Nigeria, Africa, and beyond. So on the show today, I have a community medicine specialist or a public health physician who is going to be joining me. I will just have conversation because he's someone that is not only professionally involved, he has deliberately taken certain actions that is hoped and is helping to, ensuring that he and so many persons around himself achieve optimal health. So if you've not been following our social media handles, this is the time to follow it, and you also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Talk Health Nigeria TV, and watch the previous episodes free of charge as many times as possible. So we'll be right back after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Talking Health with Dr. Laz, your favorite health program on television. We'll be giving you tips to healthy lifestyles, as many as time will permit. And joining me to do this is Dr. Chinemerem Onwuliri. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Dr. Laz. Thanks for having me.
All right. Dr. Onwuliri is a public health physician with the Department of Community Medicine at the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, Itukozala, Enugu State, Southeast Nigeria. He's an alumnus of University of Jos, Jos sites, as they usually call themselves, and also alumnus of Johns Hopkins University, where he studied epidemiology and biostatistics in public health. So, and you have strong interest in health system strengthening as well as non-communicable diseases.
Absolutely.
So, Dr. Onwuliri, in our system, people tend to ask a lot of questions concerning their lifestyle. And for us doctors, we get questions, both the ones that has to do with nutrition, even though we are not nutritionists, they are nutritional experts, the ones that have to do with teeth, even though we are not dentists. Every question about health, people tend to ask us. So in this program, I would like us to begin from non-communicable diseases. Yes, and in NCDs, the short form of it, what are the general things you would like our viewers to know about what NCDs are? What are NCDs before we now begin to go into the lifestyles that promote, preventing of NCDs?
Thank you very much, Dr. Laz, and good day, viewers. I think this is a very important program, and I want to commend you and your team and the team at AIT for the great job you're doing informing Nigerians about their health. Non-communicable diseases, what we call NCDs, are those types of illnesses, if I put it that way, that do not require a sort of an agent that is transmitted from one person to the other. So these are illnesses that are related to the individual's lifestyle, predominantly, and they are illnesses that tend to be chronic. When I say chronic, they tend to take a long time to develop and a long time within the person. So they are not, they may not start suddenly. Usually they are there, the factors are there even ahead of time.
Right.
And this, of course, is why, they are of huge interest, because a lot of people have these non-communicable diseases and don't even know. So common examples, of course, will be like heart disease. So for heart disease complex, we have things like, of course, hypertension. We have the hypertensive heart diseases complex. We have the coronary artery diseases, and other heart diseases. Then we have the metabolic diseases, like you have diabetes, you have obesity as well, is also a disease, and the complex that comes with it, which includes high blood lipids. People talk about cholesterol is high and all that. So what we call high blood cholesterol, hyperlipidemia. So these are the diseases that form this complex of enzymes.
In layman terms, you could say a lot of fats in the blood.
So these are diseases that have to do with your lifestyle, which includes the food you eat, your level of physical activity, your habits. These are diseases of habit. So you're looking at, are you someone who does not like drinking water? Are you someone who takes alcohol? Are you someone who eats a lot of fat or a lot of carbohydrates or a lot of... So these diseases have to do with those things you do on a daily. So they are diseases of habits, they are diseases of lifestyle. And as such, fundamentally to addressing these diseases will be to talk about how are we living our lives. And we're saying that the way we live our lives goes a long way in determining if we will have one or the other of these non-communicable diseases. So they are diseases that depend on us.
Significantly on our lifestyle.
On our lifestyle. We're not going to get it from anybody. We're not likely going to get it through, for instance, we've had the COVID-19 where, transmission from person to person, not with non-communicable diseases. They are largely dependent on our lifestyles, and we can take action to address these illnesses.
Okay, so now talking about the lifestyle, let me take it from when someone wakes up in the morning.
Yeah.
So starting from sleep, there's correlation between the hours of sleep and our mental health and alertness and generally.
Yes.
So starting from sleep, how many hours or how long is usually recommended for people to sleep on daily basis?
So this is a fantastic question, because I will be, crucified for missing out mental health disorders, because it probably holds the major burden of this non-communicable disease, and the major ignored is a neglected non-communicable disease, because people don't talk about it enough. And starting from sleep is so important. Sleep is the reset that God and nature has put in man to help man to properly get his body, properly functioning in the way the body knows how to. So it's when you're sleeping that you grow. It's when you're sleeping that your body repairs broken down tissues. It's when you're sleeping that your body also gets rid of some waste products as well. So sleep is such an important component, for regeneration, for rest, and also for getting the body back on track. So now the challenge with sleep is that a lot of people take the concept of sleeping for granted. So with sleep, we have the quantity of sleep, that's the number of hours, and the quality of sleep. So it's not just about how long you sleep, but how well are you sleeping? What's your sleep hygiene like? The way we have hand hygiene, we also have sleep hygiene. So what's your sleep hygiene like? How do you take sleep? So even your sleep environment, is it cool? We usually say that wherever you sleep should be of a certain cool temperature, should be very aerated or ventilated. And usually, we also know that for most locations, at night, temperatures tend to, drop significantly. So that makes it, already suitable. This is why God created it that way, so that we can actually sleep. So sleep is at the heart of, everything health. So you have to sleep properly. We say 8 hours.
Dr. Onwuliri, if I leave you, you're an expert on this subject. Even 3 hours is not going to be enough for us to touch many things. Yes, sleep is very important, and that cannot be overemphasized. So on the average, like in terms of quantity, how many hours should one sleep?
Is 8 hours non-negotiable? So what we say is the best advice for sleep is please try and sleep early. So you can wake up early and start. So it's a better approach than sleeping late and not being able to peak, in sleep. So sleeping early for us is a more significant, is a better advice when possible.
I remember this stuff when we were in primary school.
Yes.
Early to bed,
early to rise.
to rise.
It's very valid
That's
advice.
healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Yes,
you know.
it's valid advice. So, I tell people, especially professionals and hard-working people who are not working night shifts, if you sleep 9, you can wake up by 3 if you want. I'm not saying you should do that, but it's a more effective way because at least the body has that time to rest. And there's something else that is linked to sleep. The time we eat, the last meal we eat, the time we eat our last
meal.
We're
going to come to that. I think let's take a short break. And when we return, we'll continue this conversation. We're still going to touch on what you do when you wake up, issues around exercise, nutrition is already talking about that, what you eat at night and things like that. Of course, other practices we need to imbibe to get healthy. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Talking with Dr. Laz, your favorite health program on television. I've been with Dr. Chinemerem Onwuliri, who is a community health physician or a public health physician at the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, Enugu, Southeast Nigeria. And we've been talking about healthy lifestyle, healthy tips, what we need to do to prevent non-communicable diseases. So back to you, Dr. Onwuliri.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about sleep. So when we wake up in the morning, exercise.
Yeah.
So what kind of things should we do when someone wakes up that is help our lifestyle?
So quickly off the chart, the first thing you want to do is you want to be up and doing. So up and doing is you want to probably have an exercise routine. Nowadays we also talk about routines that help clear your mind. So some level of just mental reassurance of yourself. You can meditate, you can pray. All these things also contribute to your health. That time of quietness that you spend clearing, your thoughts is valid. Then, physical activity. So physical activity can be routine exercises. For us, we advise taking walks because we're in a culture where most of the time we're inside the vehicles or we're inside the keke, napep, or we're taking motorcycles. So people never really are on their feet for significant times or period during the day. So we encourage people take a walk. It could be as much as 30 minutes, 40 minutes. But if you're trying to lose weight specifically, you want to do long walks.
Okay,
it's so important.
We'll get to that because your weight used to be much more than this, what we currently see. And you put in a lot of energy and effort to get it to what it is. So people talk about taking a glass of water when someone wakes up. Does it have any effect on our lifestyle?
I mean, absolutely. It's beneficial because you need rehydration is also at the basis of the entire human physiology. So essentially early morning hydration, I mean to say, helps you to also clear the gut. So for those who may be constipated and those who may not be able to pass go to toilet normally, that allows them to do that. So
but what about people who live in Jos that is very cold at certain times of the year? People like you, is also recommended irrespective of the weather condition or where someone is
because
staying?
People who live in even the Antarctic regions of the world, they also have physical activity.
Okay.
The major thing is just having that awareness as to what you should do, the alternatives, what you should substitute. So for instance, coming to work at the studio here, you may decide to stop at maybe a 5 or 10 minutes at the gates and walk in. Something as simple as that over a period of time. Remember talking about
using the staircase instead of lifts.
Absolutely.
For those who walk in such
over
places.
a period of time, these things are additive. Like I said, we're talking about chronic diseases, disease of a long time, disease of lifestyle. So any lifestyle substitution you make, the benefits will be, very remarkable because over time it's additive. And this applies to every other thing. It applies to people who use alcoholic beverages, people who use other even tobacco that we always talk about that is dangerous to health. So all of these issues,
so let's speak a bit
they're additive
more
when you take action.
Yes. So let's speak a bit more around alcohol intake.
Yes.
People said, should you avoid alcohol at all? But the literature is usually don't avoid excessive alcohol consumption. What is excessive when it comes to that?
So first and foremost, the truth is excessive that we refer to in some literature is in relation to heart disease and some other conditions. For conditions like gastric cancer, for instance, there's no safe amount.
Okay.
There's no safe amount.
So alcohol is a risk
factor. Is a risk factor even
for
at
cancer of the stomach.
Yes, even at the minutest quantities. So this is the reality. So the point is, it all depends on what the individual wants to do. But what we say is moderation is key, and not just for alcohol, for food as well.
Okay.
In fact, personally, I feel food is a bigger risk factor in today's world.
Okay, so let's look at it now. If you want to have your breakfast by 9 a.m.,
okay,
so you should have eaten, say, before 9 p.m. the previous night.
I would say you should eat by probably 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
the previous day. Yes, because the concept of fasting is so that your body can use what you have eaten. If there's need for storage, to store it. If there's need for waste, to excrete it. You understand? So that by the time you are now initiating the next meal, the coast is clear. You cannot park a car in a garage where a car is already parked. So you need to clear what is there first before you start putting in additional quantities. And that's why we have a lot of problem with obesity. Because people have cars already parked in them and they are parking in more. So it's just confusion for the body system.
Okay, so now looking at the combination, nutritionists will say if you have a plate of food, you have like a third that could be calories, the other third could be
carbohydrate, yes,
fruits,
yes,
and vegetables, so something like that. So can you speak a bit more about that combination?
So currently, the understanding is that what is on your plate depends on what your condition is.
Okay.
So for instance, for children, we actually encourage a lot of, using the food pyramid and identifying what food items, for carbohydrates, proteins, etc. But let me say this. For adults, most adults, the key thing your body needs, your body has what we call essential amino acids or essential proteins or an essential fatty acids. These two groups of food are food items that your body has no capacity to produce by itself. So as such, you must take it externally. There's no essential carbohydrate. There's no essential carbohydrate. So what it means is that once you're able to get those essentials from fats and proteins, your body can use them to even create energy and address the issues that the carbohydrates will do. Okay. So many a time, what is happening in our civilization today is that we are eating a lot of carbs. Okay. We're eating more carbohydrates than we actually need to eat. And as such, you have people with excessive amounts because those carbohydrates, the body doesn't know any other thing to do with them than convert them to fat
and store in the body.
So it keeps building over time.
And that also tends to happen a lot to people who eat late.
Absolutely.
And people who take heavy meals.
Absolutely.
Take fufu, amala, and all of that, say 8, 9 p.m. or even beyond.
Absolutely. Heavy meals are at the heart of this problem because at the heart of weight gain, and also addressing the issues of weight gain, which is weight loss, is the hormone called insulin. Right. I know we're going a bit technical, but please, people should understand. There's a hormone in your body. A hormone is just like a chemical your body produces within. And this chemical is used to reduce and break down the food and store it as fat once you eat. That's what insulin does. So when you eat heavy amounts, large amounts of that insulin are produced, and as such, large amounts of fat will be deposited, and it follows that pattern. So what that tells you is that eating large quantities, yes, would trigger high levels of insulin and would worsen fat gain. Eating late at night, insulin has what we call a rhythm, a day-night rhythm. So usually at night, its levels are already naturally high.
Right.
Because the human body is set in a way that it thinks that, okay, food is about to come. So it keeps the level high. So anything you eat at that night will likely end up as fat. And I challenge people, you can check your weight. For most people, any day you eat at night, the next day you're going to gain weight. You will gain weight.
Right.
But the days you skip a night meal, if you check and compare the weight with the weight from the previous day, you will see that you have lost some weight. And
okay,
as such,
so we have very few minutes to round up this conversation. But tobacco now, tobacco is one chemical. It has so many chemicals within it that harms our bodies. So preventing non-communicable diseases like cancer, so many other ones, even peptic ulcer disease. So do not smoke. Could you speak a bit more why it is discouraged that people should not smoke? So various types of tobacco and how it can be helpful.
So for tobacco, people should understand that tobacco is simply a business. There's absolutely no benefit. It is a poison that has killed millions throughout history. And these facts are very clear.
Well, some will say they'll be smoking for 30 years and nothing has happened to them.
So the person who has been smoking for 30 years, do you want to see a picture of your lungs? It's not about saying nothing has happened to you. You know, we should look at you, we should take you and run the necessary, and you will see that even your vital capacity has reduced.
What's vital capacity?
So, sorry, when we say vital capacity, your breathing, expands, the breathing capacity of the individual, is on the decline.
And a good way to show that is for those who are athletes that play football. If you used to play full time 90 minutes when you're not smoking, if you start tobacco smoking, you struggle to play 45 minutes because the lungs can no longer carry enough oxygen to sustain the person for that long.
The simplest way to think about this thing, why doesn't JJ Okocha smoke? Why doesn't Cristiano Ronaldo smoke? Why doesn't Messi smoke? These are top level athletes. Why doesn't LeBron James smoke? Why doesn't Usain Bolt smoke? These are top level athletes. You understand? So for high performance, my point is, if you want to be truthful to your body, if you want to take care of this body that has been given to you, you must face these facts. Tobacco is dangerous. It's poisonous. And it doesn't matter the form you're getting it in, whether you're smoking a cigarette or you're smoking all these shisha, all these things that they smoke around the place.
They lie to them that there is fluid water that washes
a single shisha is almost equivalent to 20 cigarettes.
Actually.
A single shisha is almost equivalent to 20 cigarettes. So it's even more volume of everything wrong that people are getting into their systems. So what I'm just saying is that be aware of what you're doing. Don't fall easily for the marketing gimmicks or what you see on music videos or what you see in entertainment movies and all. These are acting. In real life, it is you, your doctor, and your God, and your family. Okay. So take care of yourself. And tobacco has absolutely no
health benefit.
There's no benefit.
No benefit.
Even the social benefit has been debunked. Because in many countries around the world, including this country, Nigeria, we have banned tobacco, and the country is moving fine.
Yes, we banned tobacco adverts, and there's actually a law, Tobacco Control Act, that abolishes indoor smoking. So for those who run clubs or bars that allow people to smoke inside the room,
is wrong.
It's wrong, and they're actually running foul of the law.
Absolutely.
So finally, sexual practices.
Yes.
And of course, there's the aspect of drugs, but there will not be time to go into drug abuse and stuff like that. But we know that the use of drugs also has certain correlation with sexual practices. So safe sex.
Yes.
How can you speak a bit more about it? A lot of young persons get into trouble.
So we cannot overemphasize the issues regarding safe sex. So what that means is, one, abstaining from sex. There's a responsibility that comes with sexual practice. It's not a game. So if you look at your life and you feel you have certain things you want to achieve, probably you want to abstain. Now, if you can't abstain,
will you tell a couple to abstain from sex?
Not a married couple.
Okay,
so a married couple is unmarried. So the next thing is, if you know you can't abstain, then you can be faithful to your partner, because it prevents you from getting sexually transmitted diseases. Then the third thing is we talk about using some sort of protection, like condoms, especially, and using it the right way. You must learn how to use the condoms correctly, so that they don't slip, they don't break while they are being used, and you don't contract disease. But ultimately, why it's important for a lot of young people is that most of the diseases you may get by these adventures, they don't go away. If you get herpes, it's going to be with you probably for the rest of your life. It's not going away. If you get HIV, it's going to be with you for the rest of your life.
What about gonorrhea? It's treatable?
So gonorrhea has what we call the resistant gonorrhea strain that is causing epidemics around the world. So even gonorrhea now, we don't have the antibiotics to treat certain versions of gonorrhea because of resistance. So what we're saying is that you must take responsibility.
And of course, human papilloma virus can as well
absolutely.
lead to
so you're talking about
the
virus that causes cervical cancer. And this is both, it causes cervical cancer in women, it can also cause warts in females and warts in males.
So
both males and females are at risk. And for cervical cancer, there is a vaccine, the Gardasil, which people can access, though it's not on the national schedule yet, but it is available in pharmacies. People can take this vaccine to prevent cervical. Cervical cancer is a very devastating disease. And it starts from sexual hygiene, poor sexual practices. We've talked about hand hygiene, we've talked about sleep hygiene, we're talking about sexual hygiene now. So people must take responsibility. Young people must remember that sex is not a game.
All right.
It requires a lot of responsibility because there are consequences for these actions, and we want to make sure that we don't fall on the wrong side of it.
Okay, all right. This conversation was sounding like music at some point. I know a lot of persons who wish we continue. But yes, we're going to continue this. Going forward, we'll start a segment on this show that we are going to call My Health, My Everything. And that segment is going to be focusing on issues around lifestyle, issues, the do's and don'ts, things that we need to do to keep ourselves healthy. So we look forward to doing more of those discussions even outside the studio, being in hospitals, talking about tests, investigations, and many things we need to do both as ourselves and within the hospital setting to make sure that we enjoy this life that God has given us. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Chinemerem Onwuliri,
Thank you so much.
public health physician at the Department of Community Medicine, University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, Enugu, Southeast Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Dr. Laz.
We hope to have you some other time because one show is not enough to conclude on this, especially on the segments I talked about.
Sure, sure.
Thank you for being watching the show today. We hope to see you same station, same time next week. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and keep watching as many times as possible. My name is Dr. Laz Eze. Bye for now.